In case some of you probably do know this, but just in case you don't, it's about fast drafting and mock-ups of designs in Flow, developed for user experience and user interface. Some of the things to know about this, actually interesting, just a little note, I am presenting this presentation in XD. So it's kind of cool because, yeah, I know. XD with, actually go back. So the reason you would want to do this, say you have lots of ideas on how to implement different things for your website, for your app, whatever you're building. XD is a really good place to go to the drawing board. This is a huge drawing board. You're able to quickly mock things up. It borrows a lot of shortcuts and functionality from sibling programs. So if you're at all familiar with Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere, some of these other visual programs that they have, they actually have a lot of the same tools and shortcuts, hotkeys, functionality that you might expect from those programs would also be true here. So very, very intuitive if you're already familiar with Adobe products. One of the nice features about this, so I work at FinFun Mermaid, and one of the designers that I work with named Jerry, he, right when I started working there, he was showing designs that he'd come up with using Illustrator and Photoshop. And I think prior to XD, there was Sketch and maybe some others that were kind of happily used for this purpose, but they got pretty bogged down. I know with Illustrator, I've tried building out app designs and things like that, and it's just so much information and so much processing that gets required, especially as you multiply the artboards and kind of the layers that you're wanting to use. XD is incredibly lightweight. I have not had any issues with speed or performance while using this program. Adobe has kept that in mind, knowing that rapid prototyping needs to actually be rapid. One of the cool things that they're implementing here, and I think this is kind of borrowing again from some of their other programs, but there are other programs they have used for years. They've been around for years. They're kind of familiar with the interface being a certain way. So they're making upgrades and updates and changes to the interface in a slow roll. And with XD, it's brand new, it's coming out of the gate, and they're able to use contextual panels. This is something that I think we'll see more and more of, and I've already started to see using the video software that they have, so that your screen is not just completely convoluted with tools and windows everywhere. It is it's all based on what you need right then in the moment with the tool you're using and the element that you're trying to edit or work with. So just some cool things about XD and its development. So moving along, so the basics. These are the things we're going to talk about, and then we've got another tier. This is the level up tier. This is, I think, what makes XD special is these features. But anyway, for the basics, we have artboards, tools, hand tools, shapes, masking, text, copy and paste, both from artboard to artboard and program to program. We have layers panel, images, some other little functionality with shortcuts and hotkeys, assets panel, and grid layouts. These are the things that I think are probably the most significant out of the basics to cover. There's a lot of little things, but this is, I think, what will give you guys the basis of what you need. So first, I'm actually going to jump right out of this and go into the actual program. So what you're seeing on your screen is XD. This is the interface. right now you're looking at an artboard, or this entire space is the space for your artboards. So if we zoom in, we can navigate around and see some of the things that are that kind of mocked up quickly.
So it's actually smoothing, or it's moving smoothly on your screen.
Oh, but it's really, yeah, it's probably gonna be a little laggy on your end. So, so yeah, it's moving really. Yeah. Why is it so glitchy? You said lightweight. So.
That's Google.
Yeah. Yeah, it is going through the rigmarole to make this happen. But yeah. So yeah, looking at first thing we're gonna look at is artboards. This is the space where you actually you start building for specific devices and viewports. So we have, if you click the A button, A for artboard, pretty intuitive. So it pulls up the artboard tool if you look at the cursor and notice. So we have on the right-hand side, the contextual panel is showing some of the more popular devices that you can develop for. So we have all the Apple iPad, iPhone, watch. You got some Android, tablet, mobileware, Surface Pro, and then your standard web sizes, or your common web sizes. And so each of these, as you go to notice in the document info, the size and everything will display there. So if you're ever trying to figure out what's going on, you can resize this as you need, and it will. So, and if you're not seeing a size that's already there, you can create one from scratch just using the artboard tool, and these they'll populate quickly. Let's say we're developing specifically for web, and we need to we just want to keep and maintain the same size. So if I click on the artboard, copy, paste, it'll just keep generating artboards for me. And the nice thing is, if there's information that you have on that artboard, it will copy all of that over identically. So let's go to actually something that's kind of helpful to know. Navigation is pretty simple on this. Spacebar helps you to grab and move. Trackpad or cursor, if you use the Alt, will help you to scroll and zoom. So it's pretty easy to navigate. And then there's a few shortcuts or Control. 1, 2, and 3 are specific to elements. So I'm just focusing right now on the actual artboard, and we will jump back into, or just looking at the presentation. So on the left-hand side, we'll go through all the tools. We've got your standard direct select, the rectangle tool, the ellipse tool, the line tool, pen tool, text tool, artboard tool, zoom tool, and these are the basics of what you need for building. Hand tool we already talked about was kind of panning around. The shapes and masking. So let's go to that real quick. So one thing you can do that's really nice.
Welcome to the stream, Grant.
They have non-destructive editing that you can do here. That let's say I'm trying to make a specific shape. I can copy these or lay these elements over top of each other, and if you'll notice the cursor on the right-hand side, there is this is the Pathfinder tool in Illustrator, but just kind of simplified here. You can use these, and now this is one shape, but if I wanted to go in and edit it for any reason, I can resize and then click back out and still that same one shape. So that applies for any of these that you're using for rectangle, ellipse, line, and pen tool. So I can go in here, kind of mock something up if I needed more organic shapes for some reason. Let's see, populate the fill, and then copy these, and now it's all one shape. And then this is now 2 shapes. I click in another level, it's all 3 shapes, and it's still all editable. In the past with Illustrator, this would destroy your shape as you go. So you'd have to either keep iterations saved in different layers or just be okay with destroying your things. Moving on to text. So text is pretty simple. It's kind of like your standard editing. On the right-hand side, the text panel will pop up. It has your basics with font size, font weight, your alignments, your justification, the kerning, leading, and then obviously font family. As you're working with this, they have it every time you work on a text block, it will save the information the last time you use it, which is pretty handy from a bunch of body text that's all the same exact style. Let's see. Copy and pasting. So where do we need to go for that? No. Copy and pasting. So if we go to this artboard that I've been working on for the Love Strong webpage. This is a organization that my brother-in-law and myself are working on. So this, I just copy and pasted, and it, like I said earlier, gave me an identical copy. One of the nice things that you can do, let's say I had only wanted some of these pieces, and instead of copying over everything, I would have just had a blank artboard. I can go and it will identical spot in the corresponding space. It's really nice if you just pieces, but not all pieces. So you can see, kind of get the idea of why that might be beneficial for these. All right, so moving back to artboard, we covered that. Program to program. So I won't show it here because it'll take a second. I forgot to load Photoshop Illustrator for layers and images from each of those programs. So let's say you have a really complex file, PSD, that came through from a designer, and you just need one portion of it. You can open that up, go down to it, pull it out, copy and paste it over, and it will keep its fidelity and everything as it transfers. So that's really, really nice.
Does it sync between those files?
Doesn't, it's, oh, what's the word for that? Not here.
Not here.
Yeah.
I just
there's
use
a reason for that.
like Illustrator and Photoshop. You can something to pull an asset in from Photoshop. You can have those bound together so that you edit in one place, it updates it.
Dynamic linking,
There
I think
you
is
go.
what it's called. Yeah. So, and they have that, but they don't use it in exactly just for copying and pasting. So you can use which one is it? The CC library. So here I've got I'm logged in as with my FinFun account. So you'll notice I've got a bunch of product and things that we've been working on for holiday promotions. So each of these, this is the Creative Cloud library folder, just 10 folders. So some of the stuff we've been working on recently, you can copy and share all of those pieces in here, and it will you'll be able to have the dynamic linking here. Cool. So that's one place that can happen. Let's see.
Just thinking from a collaborative standpoint of being able to paste in or put that dynamic linked asset in there so that you've got a designer who's working on something. It's like, hey, we want to put this on this website.
Right.
This is the kind of the main place. They can be working on that as long as you've got the asset in the right location. It will update to reflect their changes.
Right. And collaboration, that's one thing I'm excited to talk about at the end. There's they've got some really cool features that they just recently came out with this for CC, not the beta version, but so.
Sorry, didn't mean to derail you.
Oh, you're good. You're good. So we talked a little bit about program. Moving on to the layers panel. So layers panel, Command or Control Y will populate right now because we don't have any specific artboard selected. It is showing us all artboards. If we click into a specific artboard, well, actually, I think it's, there we go. It will show just the layers that are relevant to that artboard. This is really nice. This is a new feature and a new principle that they're using in Adobe products. It used to be artboards and layers were completely separate. Now they're combining the two and having it be based on the level of different layers that you're going into for or different levels as you're going into and making it all relevant. Let's see. So yeah, you're able to manipulate these, drag and drop. Let's say I've got this here. You can see it highlighted. I want to bring it above and make it actually I want to go all the way to the bottom. So this was something that they just came out with recently because it used to be you had to use the controls, Command Shift.
Or send back.
Yeah, it got tedious when you had
a lot of
hardy, hardy design. So so that's one thing that's actually a nice new feature.
That is cool.
Going back to the basics. Images. You can import SVG, PNG, JPEG, TIFF, and I don't want to hear it. And what's the other one? I think it's those 5 for right now.
Corey's conversation.
The GIF or GIF?
Exactly. In case anybody you feel strongly. All right. Yeah. I personally feel like I like the reminder of peanut butter. But yeah. Let's see. So yeah, you can import images pretty easily. You can drag and drop. That's one way to do it. I've got a bunch of assets saved, and throw those in there pretty quickly. And they are manipulatable. You can do some pretty nice, quick, simple things with them. All right, so the alt spacing or object spacing, this is a feature that helps with your overall layout and understanding the relationship of one element to another. So holding down the alt key, I can element highlighted, and I want to know what's the distance between that logo up top, and it's 433 pixels. I can go to each one of these individual, and it updates immediately. That's really nice. Whenever you're moving things around, you can see that information is continuous and live, and like notice.
So that works if you're just holding the Alt key and doing
if you want to see specifically element to element, you hold the Alt key and hover over that element, and it will show you. That information is showing live. Yeah. So yeah, shift hold, same thing as Photoshop and Illustrator. It gives you increments of 10, 1 for without, and I think, yeah. So let's say you have multiples. If I'm got a few of these, but one of the nice things that XD will do is try and understand spacing and give you some suggestions. So at different points, it will read that information if I have it set to an even distance. If it's not even, then it's not gonna snap, but it does. Let's see, maybe it's better. Vertical. Yeah, there we go. So you see that highlighting, that is just explaining and describing that distance is relative if you're trying to have consistency within your spacing. So there's some nice designs there, or nice features there. All right, moving on to the assets panel. we've got a few different things that they've added. The colors, character style, and symbols. First thing we'll go over is the so let's say we're looking at this. This is the kind of like the recipe before it goes in the oven. If we can highlight different text fields and click on these character styles. These are presets that I've added, and personally I wanted it to be about this size, so I'll leave it at that. I can keep going over here and add a few different sizes if I want. What was the one I had it at? Maybe something like that.
So those are ones you saved?
Yeah, these are ones that I've saved, and once you come to a happy place, you can just highlight the object that has the styles that you're looking for and just click the add button. This one already exists, otherwise it would, let's see, I'll change this to white and we'll be able to add that. So now that's a new thing there. Going over the colors, these are added. I can drag and drop these from Creative Cloud, which is nice. To Space, you'll see there is the color selector. Along the bottom is another place that I'll kind of keep it for specific elements, and then be able to come over here and drag the ones that I want for a universal board. So I can go in and give these, a little bit of color, do something like this, and I'm not condoning this as good design practice. P.S. This is purely for demonstration.
Why is this guy showing? And you call yourself a designer?
Yeah, exactly. This is a doubt any club that I've previously been. All right, so there's that.
It's a good thing that you're in the IT group here.
Yeah. I would have a different presentation for design teams. All right, and then last thing in the assets panel is we'll go over the symbols. So let's say I want to build out a shape. I've got these three pieces that I'm piecing together, and I want this to be a symbol that I want to be able to play with kind of throughout the entire website. So I'll come in here, create the shape, and then I will add that as a symbol. What that gives me the ability to do is I can delete that, and it's now safe and secure in the symbols palette. It's there. Its original integrity. I can them. So let me just move this over. Say somebody comes back and they say I don't like the design. Go ahead and rearrange it this way. In the past, I'd have to go through and go to each artboard and manually change it. I'd have the dynamic linking, but again, bogged down Illustrator, no good. This is lightweight and super fresh.
Are those saved per document, like per
document? Yeah.
Project?
Yep. And I'd be willing to bet that before long, symbols will be it'll be across projects. Yeah. So that's a really nice feature. And let's say you have a point at which you're building out these designs. You want to diverge and have a branch that's going off a different direction. So you want to keep the original with its icons and everything, but you want to have a new branch that starts. You can go in and select the object, right click, and ungroup symbol. And now this is back to being its own unique snowflake. It will not update the other symbols that you have. It is now unique. You can then go back in and add it as its own unique symbol, and then continue moving forward in that way. So that's pretty helpful. Nice little tool there. Let's see. Grids. This is a brand new feature as well. This is really nice for if you're working with program or frameworks like Bootstrap or Grid, right? Or anything that uses set spacing for your development, you can go in. You have your grid panel, and it gives you the option between layout and square. You can modify the number of columns, according to however many are in your web space or app, and be able to add those quickly. And this acts essentially as a guide. And so if I come in and I make a shape, I can then snap quickly and easily to those. And this is really, really nice. I used to
Have you
manually.
seen the new CSS Grid?
Oh, what?
Have you seen the new CSS Grid?
Yeah. This is really nice for that. Yeah.
Exactly.
There previously I'd come up with my own tools. It would basically be rectangles at the shape or at the width that I wanted them, and I would drag them onto each artboard and kind of use that as my guide. This is really nice. Something you can turn on and off and not have to deal with any of that crabbiness.
So the grid in here is more just alignment tool then?
Yes. So this is pretty nice too, just being able. Oh no, not that one. Being able to work with different size squares and give you kind of more flexibility there if you need it.
Does that snap to the grid?
It does. Yeah, and you can turn that on and off. So that's a really nice feature. All right, so let's kind of go through the level up real quick. Prototyping mode. This is probably what makes this really, really nice. Other than just being able to, kind of quickly mock something together, you can now go through and let's see, is it visual tab? So yeah. So top left, you see design prototype. It's toggling between the two. So we'll go into prototype view, and now we're able to come into each of these artboards and elements, and we can select each and assign it a function for a click event, basically. So if I come in and I've got, actually, let me show you what this looks like before. So this is the phone search bar that I wanted to work on. I can click on each of these, and it acts as a it goes to each of the new artboards as pages, basically. So it can give me a rough idea of navigation, give me an idea for feel and for flow. I can. It's really good for kind of being able to build out your site map quickly. There's just a lot of nice functionality there. So let's see. So you're able to go to, the way that works is as you're in prototype mode, you click on an object or artboard. Anything that is a unique element within an artboard has a little arrow that you can drag a wire and drop into. I want this whole element, when I click it, to go to this artboard. It's got a few different transitions, easing, and durations. So go to, the way that works is that's pretty nice. Let's see what's UI kits. So whenever you're building these things out, it's realistic that you're going to need to know the other elements that are a part of the space. So this is a UI kit that is actually from Apple. I know that they have it for a few other as well. If you go to Adobe XD and go to their prototyping UI kits, it will give you links to everything that you can download and import into your projects. I think something that they are working on is making this an integrated part of the program, not just something that you can go grab and manually insert, but actually be able to make it part of the program. So I can borrow these pieces and put them into my own projects and develop in the truest space so that I can account for everything. Going back over to some of this, I don't actually, this is the full screen width of iPhone 6 or 7. That's not accurate. Oh. That's not what the web space is going to really look like, you know. So so having those other pieces and including them, I didn't throw them in here. I should have, but anyway, we have the keyboard and this is borrowed from that UI kit. So you can use UI kits, and that's really handy. Preview. So
quick question on the UI kit.
Yeah,
how does that act? You've got your, what were they called, the objects that you put into your palette.
Mm-hmm.
How does that compare? Is this something that you're copying and pasting from that UI kit? Is it something?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it is same rudimentary objects and elements that you could build each of those things if you wanted.
So you just download it and just pull it into your project and start using whatever you want.
Is it immutable, that UI kit segment, or is it something you can also
modify?
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
you truly
probably
just
shouldn't want to, but
yeah, exactly.
But,
so it's just a source. Someone has created a template that's like, here, you can use this.
Just a library of all the parts and pieces. That's all it is. But I do think that is a feature that will be coming. Is I've seen in some of the forums for XD development that they are working on those types of things as well. Going back to, so what I was originally showing you guys earlier was the preview mode. So if you have an artboard selected, you can go to preview and actually click through some of the buttons, and it will go through as though you are in the app, basically, which is really nice. And one of the features with that is that you can record. So this is good for sharing. If you just need to give a quick demonstration of something, let's say I just wanted to show you guys that these arrows go to the next slide. I can save that out as I think it's a .mov or maybe a MP4, but either way, saves out and you're able to then share that. So if somebody doesn't have XD, you can still show them the function.
It's also really helpful
nice.
when you're doing user experience stuff to be able to sit someone down and then be able to go and review the footage of stuff that they've done. So it's really helpful.
Beautiful. Yeah. Great tool, great example.
Is it just a footage, or can I also like record audio with it?
As far as
Come on, Adobe.
Yeah, if you're wanting like video and audio, you can get like Loopback, I think is a service you can purchase. They'll record the person's face, the audio, everything they touch, all that kind of stuff. But
the string of expletives.
Yeah, or they can just add in. Okay, the design is terrible. When they put this widget here.
Yeah. Exactly. One of the things that it's going to show you is kind of having issues right now. I don't know what's going on with it, but you can have with your previews, you can have your device set up. So let's say I'm developing specifically for iPhone. I can go in and download the XD app here, hook it up with the connection, and once I open up the app, I'm able to. Pretty cool. One is I can browse the artboards and actually select, like, let's say I want to go to the Love Strong create connection. So I can actually go in here and it treats it as though I'm back in using it. So I mean that's cool. That's pretty cool. That's cool. And this is so when I went to Adobe Max and went to a couple of the breakouts that were about XD, and they said that this was really hard to get, but they were once they figured out the way to do it, they were like jumping for joy because they knew this would be a really handy feature for everybody. So that's something I really appreciate and love. You have it in the device in the space that it's actually going to be. Everything is as real and true to the user experience as you can get it with this type of preview. Let's see. So we also have two other things that I'll just go over. Sharing. So you have share button top right corner, so you can publish or share the entire project. You can share small pieces and snippets if you want, and this is done via a link. So I can go ahead and click this now. This link, and now I can share it with anybody here, even if you don't have XD. So there's a web space that is set up specifically for XD projects, and this is another really nice collaborative feature. Let's go back to the other. There's another type of sharing that this is still in beta, but it's really cool for not just, it's for collaborative work between a designer and a developer. So let's say I don't know anything about front end development. I just want to crank out some good designs, some good user experience, and send it over to somebody who can build it. You can actually export design specs now, so that it includes all the information. Let me see if I can open this up. So it will include information. That's not the one I want. So it will actually give you dimensions and different information that is relevant for that development. Pretty handy collaborative piece of this as well. So and then the last thing that I'll talk about is just export. You can export these projects as different images and be able to send them that way. Probably not the most useful when you have all these other awesome ways of sharing and really getting this into the hands of other people. But I'm all in all, I'm really impressed with this tool. This program really help with communicating and developing ideas more thoroughly in a fast pace. There's no need for it to just be pen and paper or programs that can bog down. You're able to intuitively, quickly produce some pretty amazing things. So anyway, any questions?
How much does it cost?
It comes with Creative Cloud. I don't know about. It's either it's a subscription. I think you can do single apps for $19 a month, or you could just download it for a month, use it for a month, and then do all your ideas then.
That's correct. $19.99 a month.
Well worth it though. So Preston, any tips or tricks that you've found or been using that weren't covered?
I think you got pretty much the bulk of them. I think the most powerful thing that I really enjoyed was the prototyping and the symbols. Symbols is like one of those things that I always thought was really stupid when I first started using Illustrator, and then when I started using Sketch and a bunch of other stuff, I realized how powerful it is. And as you could see with some of those symbols and things that you'd be able to pull from those common framework libraries and stuff, it cuts a lot of work out and makes it really easy to iterate. And then if you got to change one thing, you tweak it, and then everything else just propagates using those styles and everything else. So I recommend it.
One other thing I forgot to go over is the repeat grid. It sparked after you were talking about the symbols and how beneficial that is. So repeat grid. So let's say I'm trying to build like just a results page for a search. I can go in here and use this tool, repeat grid, and it has this object has 3 different unique elements in it, and I can drag and pull And if I want, I can go through and I can edit each of these, and it keeps everything, all the sizing and everything will mimic, and it's super handy.
So what if you only wanted to change the text, but you wanted to change the style? Well, change the text of one, but then change the styles of all. Can you still do that?
So you either stick with the group or you break away. So you can go through and
Once broken away,
you can't go back. It's, I mean, same principle as you know, well, yeah.
So it's not like defining a class.
No.
So you can have different text, but you can have the same styles.
Right. So now we can ungroup this, and now these are each unique, and I can.
So if you wanted to swap image apps to make it so it doesn't look obvious repeat, you can have it. But actually building it out so that it has the repeat is pretty quick.
Yeah,
easy.
so just get the space laid out and then go through and be able to modify it uniquely. That's you know, this is all about low fidelity, rough draft. Just get the space laid out, understand the space and flow, and that's it. Yeah. You know, and then you can keep on going to those higher levels as you see fit for, you know, maybe the you know, being able to hand this off to somebody else and say, hey, I want this.
This is what it should
This is what it
like,
needs to look and feel like. So anyway, that is WXD.
So how does this work with multiple? Like, you have the multiple storyboard sizes. If you wanted a website that you have it for the top 10, are you going to have to mock up the website in all of the different resolutions, exactly how you want it to look independently? It's not like a responsive design. It's like I lay it out and I define the relationship, and then it responds and automatically fills the.
Which that adds some pretty serious complexity if you were to do that. But one thing I really love about where this program is at, they are taking as many ideas as people are throwing at them and say, hey, you guys should do this, throw it at them, and they'll take it. And if they get enough votes, it's a voting system and a suggestion system where they'll keep on kind of pulling like, these are all kind of the same thing. And they actually added the grid layout based on somebody throwing in a suggestion. And that was something that I've been actively a part of with, they'll send out user testing for their program and say, hey, will you go check this out, check this feature out and see what you think, does it work well? Which is, you know, kind of ironic. But then, you know, we as a community are able to help them build the perfect tool for us. So that's something I would suggest doing, is if you're interested in really using this, look at some of the features that are in the works and you know, vote them up. There's a lot of stuff that I think that I, you know, am just getting excited about going through and reading their support forums and everything that people are interested in having, and they even tag them, you know, in progress or in consideration or need more vote, you know, different things like that to kind of get a better idea of what the population needs. So anyway.
Well, cool. Thank you,
Chase. There it is.
You're not happy. 2 seconds. All right, so if I remember correctly from the last time, I'll be doing the next presentation.
Oh, I thought I was doing the next one.
Are you doing that? What would you like to present?
Google Docs.
Do it!
So I'll be doing Vue. So Vue CLI, I will probably just do an intro to Vue CLI, how to get an environment set up, what's all the fuss about Vue, if you've got React experience or
it seems to think React's gonna dominate.
Well, React is already ahead, but Vue is kind of the upcomer that's taking the best of React and Angular and fixing all of the problems that each one of them has. So I'm gonna show Vue. I'll probably just do a demonstration on a fresh laptop. I'll show you how how to do NPM, how to do UCLI, how to get your JavaScript environment set up so that you can develop it. Talk a little bit about the components that you can use to make you. And then if you're interested, I can do a follow-up to that about how to actually do an app, what some of that stuff works.
That sounds awesome. Cool.
So, okay.
Come on, about it.
So it'll be early January that we meet next. I found out that my wife has stuff on Thursday nights at the same time, so we may have to move things around just a little bit. So I'll let you know a little closer when exactly we'll do that. But probably the first week or so of January. We've got New Year's in there if we do it on a different day, so that we don't have that competing with Roundtable. Okay.
Solid.
Thanks again, Chase. You doing a demonstration?
Yeah,
Bravo.
That's great.
Get one in there. Thank you, Fred.
Good work. Good work.
Well, since,
Thank
you
you.
guys.
nice to see you guys.
See you guys.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Since I won't see you all until after the New Year.
Awesome. All right, brothers.
All right, Preston. After I'm done with the UCLI, I think you need to do a quick and dirty how to do the video casting.
Sounds good. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And something we might try next time. We might try see if we can get Discord to work again, because for some reason, Hangouts does really good when someone's close to the mic, but it's cutting out a lot of stuff you guys are saying. I get what you're saying. I know what you're saying. I'm just letting you know.
All right.
But
So we'll try to do Discord next time if we can.
we'll just see if it has a better bit rate. It's just good. It's just the way that Hangouts does their bit rate stuff. They're trying to smooth it out. So
I'll get Discord set up on my Yield tablet. I think it works on there, doesn't it?
It should.
Sure.
yep, it should be good. Cool, guys.
Okay,
later.
thanks for joining at the last minute there, Preston.
Absolutely, and sorry again. I totally derped that one up. I was like 100%. I read the email and I was like, okay, it's on the 11th. I don't know why. But
Well, we all honesty, when I texted you, we were just getting to the point where we were about to get started.
okay,
so.
good. Good. I'm glad I didn't. So, well, if I don't see you guys before then, happy Christmas, Merry New Year.
Merry New Year, yeah.
So, I'll see you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, Joe.
Yes.
Whoa, what?
D&D night.
Oh, D&D night.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.